An unexpected but welcome reaction. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to The World's Divide. So, a little quick preface for this. Before anything, this reaction was not originally going to happen today. It was kind of a on-the-fly decision because of Bon ending up only being 18 minutes, which I just didn't know beforehand. And so, like, I was going to do this reaction already. I already planned on it, but it's kind of like a surprise bonus reaction for today that I wasn't planning on initially for today. But again, I was already planning on doing this either way. So let's talk about this. So The World's Divide is obviously not a donation reward because it was something I just kind of decided to throw in here. But for those who don't know, it is a independent animated film, full-length feature film, 2 hours long, that is solo directed, written, and animated by Canadian filmmaker Denver Jackson. It has a very small team, all things considered, and it is, like I said, a completely full original film that was actually being given a very limited online release. And with that limited release, I wasn't sure if this was something I would be okay to react to, because a limited release, they might have something like specific that they wanted to do with this, Denver and everyone else who worked on it. And so I specifically asked, because I learned about this through Twitter, and I went on Twitter and asked Denver, and I'm like, hey, I'm a reactor. Would I be allowed to react to this, to record my reaction to this? I'll give you all the credit. I'll mention you and all that. My content will just be the reaction and the review afterwards. And his response was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see it. And so I also promised to share it with him on Twitter after it's released. So, bonus. I got express permission and some excitement from the creator of the film to see my reaction as well. So, that's exciting. So Denver, if you're watching this, thank you for the permission. Hope you enjoy the reaction. And just as a note for you or anyone else who's watching this who has not seen this, who's not seen my content before, I do redirect all of my content due to YouTube's, copyright issues and everything. I just, even with something independently made like this, I just like to keep things safe. Because there are people who will go on YouTube and claim things that aren't even theirs, and it can fuck up someone's channel. So I just don't want to take any risks. You know what I mean? I trust that you wouldn't claim it or anything, but, just to be safe and just to keep things, safe for my channel. Because I've already had a channel unfairly terminated because of this shit in the past. I don't want to deal with that again. So it is going to be redirected. The link is in the description below. You can check it there. My reaction will be on Rumble. Not the best site, but it's, free and easy to upload to. So even though the site is oftentimes used for a lot of negativity, I'm using it for positivity. So there you go. So about this film, I don't know anything about the plot. I actually just randomly saw this while scrolling through Twitter. I don't know what it's about. I don't know, what the general concept of it even is. I don't know, if it's like a modern kind of real life situation. I don't know if it's fantasy. I don't know if it's more like this kind of retro futuristic thing. I don't know. I don't know, the tone. I don't know anything about the characters or the plot. I know nothing. And as I've said plenty of times in the past, that is how I tend to prefer it, because it allows for the most genuine, honest reactions. It allows me to give my full thoughts without any real expectation or any kind of preconceived notions. Now, I did see on Twitter that, Denver, you were saying this movie took 3 years for you to make. And I'm really hoping to see all of that hard work, and I'm really excited for it. I did see a little glimpse at the animation through, the the clip that was posted on Twitter and everything. And it looked really good from what I did see. I didn't see a lot of it because I, again, didn't want spoilers or anything, but it looked like really good animation. And for this to be like solo animated by you, it's like that's just insanely impressive. Like anytime a project comes out where it's like one or even just a small team of animators and it looks like super high quality, that's awesome. And I love to give all kinds of attention to that because we need more independent animators to get their works out there and get their names made so that we can have more great animated content in the future. It's just great for the industry. So I'm very excited to see this. I, again, don't know what to expect from it, but I have a lot of high hopes. So let's get into this and see what it has in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I looked up Max Lindsay, who was Mito, and I couldn't find anything that I would recognize him from. So if there was something, I don't know. But Emmy Lowe, for those who don't know, who is another one of the VAs in this, is a massive name in voice acting. Some of the big stuff she's known for is she voiced Lucy in Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Because it's relevant to the channel, she's Miri in Buddy Daddies. She was Akane Sawatari in Chainsaw Man. And probably the biggest one currently is she is the, obviously, English dub voice of Mao Mao in The Apothecary Diaries. Which is, you know, obviously massive. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure based on the name who her character in this was, but that's pretty wild. That's a huge, huge name for this. But outside of that, let's go into talking about this movie and just get it out of the way right from the beginning. This was a masterpiece. Like, this is written, directed, and animated by one person. A single person did all of that work. And yeah, there's a crew for like the rest of the stuff for this. It's not like he was the only person completely working on this, like completely alone. But Denver Jackson, like, again, wrote, directed, and animated solo. That is like a Herculean feat that I don't know if I've heard of that before. I don't know if I've heard of obviously movies that are written and directed by the same person and like only written and directed by that one person. But I don't think I've heard of an animated movie that's only been like only had that one person working on it. Or series for that matter. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that have very small teams. Like a tight-knit team of like friends animating it and whatnot. And working on that kind of stuff. But a single person taking on all of that, it's just like, that's so insane. That's so wild. And, like, for it to also be just so phenomenal as a film, like, it shows an immense amount of talent on all of these different levels. The animation was it had this unique style to it. It was very much its own thing. This didn't feel like it looked like anything else. It didn't feel like it felt like anything else. It was super well animated, ignoring the crunchiness of some of those high action scenes because of my computer not handling stuff well, specifically not handling recording straight off of a browser super well. But ignoring that, it was like super well animated. It was really well drawn. The visuals were gorgeous. There was a lot of locations, for example, that were shown, all these different like places that were amazing. The character design was great. I loved like all the characters had a very unique personalized look to them that made them feel like, people. um I really loved the soundtrack. I think every bit of music for this was phenomenal and worked exceptionally well for the story being told, for the emotional moments, for the action moments. I also really loved how certain shots were like shown in a like off kilter way. Like there's specific shots of Natomi's father that are shown like in a very weird angle that just like is kind of off putting. And we find out by the end that that's very intentional because it's like showcasing how twisted he actually is. And yeah, it's so intense. It's so insane. The story is fantastic. The twists and turns, like the twist of Batar being M was easy to see coming. That one I got like almost right away. Like pretty much like because again, Mito mentioned like when she first came out of her cryostasis that like they had been waiting for her father for centuries. So it's made very clear that the time thing is a little off here. And so I'm thinking like could M have awoken in this world earlier? And that was the case. He did awake much earlier. It wasn't exactly how we thought of it, but it kind of makes me think of Ruby in a way. Uh, the animated web series originally by Rooster Teeth, currently owned by Viz Media. Um, in Ruby, there is a part in season 9, the most recent season, volume 9, if you want to be technical, where Jean ends up like arriving on the island, the Ever After, at the same, like just before Team Ruby is going to arrive there and Neo, but then he takes this like clock fruit and it transports him back, and so he's like living in this world decades before Team Ruby arrive, and so by the time they arrive, he's notably older, and so it's like it creates this kind of like interesting like time dissonance to see that. And it does the same thing here. Because M is Natomi's younger cousin. And so him being like kind of an old man. Like I don't know how old he's supposed to be exactly, but I'd say it probably at least 50s. That's so crazy. To see him like technically the younger cousin being so much older than her. And the fact that his daughter, who we see, is Natomi's niece, and is probably not that much younger than Natomi. It's like, it's wild, it's weird, but in the right way. It's such a cool, like, way that it's handled. Even though it was easy to see coming, I do like how the twist was done. But the bigger twist comes later in the film, when we find out that this is not another world. This is the same world thousands and thousands and thousands of years in the future. That because of her father, I wasn't quite grasping his name. I'm sorry. Let me look that up. Oh, actually, I think I still have it up on the player here. Tarek. I think it was Tarek. Um, he was he was trying to like rid the world of this like endless war between seven nations. I think it was. No, it was more than seven. 17. I know there was a seven in there, but he was trying to end this like endless war. This apocalyptic setting where the world had like lost all of its crops and everything. It had become like war torn where they have to like hand out rations, and there's all these nations like bombing shit and whatnot we see. And he wants his daughter to live in a better world. The only problem is we find out that he's willing to do anything to achieve that. He he creates this fable of this other world in order to set up this idea in Natomi's head. And so when he again cryogenically freezes her and she wakes up all these thousands and thousands of years later, she's thinking she's been transported to a completely separate world. Because from her perspective, it still basically is. This is a completely different world than the world she was born into, the world she knew. But because of the way that he brought this world about, Tarek ended up creating a world that was, fucked up in different ways. While war and everything was mostly gone, there were these entire groups of people subjugated and kept in one location as basically prisoners. Also, comparing to Ruby, that connects as well with the Faunus being forced to live on the island of Anima, away from everybody else for the most part. They're given an island and told to make do. This is very much the same vibe. And although their land is beautiful, their city is gorgeous, they're seen as lesser. And when Tarek even comes back in the end, he wants to exterminate them, which horrifies Natomi, rightly so, because she realizes that he's done all this horrible stuff to make this world his version of peace. And it's revealed that he killed his own brother, M's father, to achieve this. That he murdered all of these, like, world leaders. That he murdered all of these soldiers who were coming after him, who refused to, like, view his false utopia as freedom. He was so invested in a better world that he became the villain to achieve it. And this is a very real thing. There's so many people out there who genuinely believe that they are trying to better the world, but are like so lost in their own like how do I word this? They're so lost in their desire to do this that they're willing to do these horrible evil things if it accomplishes their goal. The means justify the ends. And Nat realizes in the end that that's not the right way to handle it. In her situation, Tarek would have absolutely killed Adina. Everybody was telling her to kill Adina. But Nat chose love. She chose instead to give this broken woman a hug, to tell her it was going to be okay, to tell her that somebody out there could care for her. And in the end, she she helped save everything. She helped take out the moon, and by extension, get rid of everyone's powers in order to work towards an actual better world. A world where people were not looked down upon because of some stupid idea of fixing them when they're different. A world that is not ruled through fear and power, but through conversation, through dialogue and kindness, and an actual attempt at peace. Peace is not achieved through pain. And that's something that Tarek never learned. He was not redeemed in the end, and he didn't feel any sorrow or any like he in no way regretted his actions. And that's why in the end Nat had to say goodbye to him. Because she knew it wasn't right. He chose to sacrifice his soul for a utopia that couldn't exist. Because by his very actions, he had just become the very people who had plunged his own world into war. He created a cycle of violence, a cycle of pain that Nat chose to break. When she hugged Adina, it allowed Adina to break the cycle as well, the cycle with her mother. The mother she killed, who, that event broke her and caused her to become her mother, to become the same tyrant her mother was. And in the end, while Adina did find a level of redemption, while she was able to help and, side with the good guys, like I said in the reaction, I really like that her brother could not forgive her. Because you are not entitled to forgiveness just because you turn your life around. If you have hurt someone, they have every right to never forgive you. They have every reason to not let that go. If you truly hurt them in a way that just can't be forgiven, then you have to accept that. And she did. Adina accepted that. When he told her that he couldn't forgive her, she's like, I know. She understood. She didn't fight it. She didn't try to convince him. She understood and let it happen. She let him go. Just like Nat had to let her father go. Different situation, mind you, but still. The idea is still there. Sometimes a relationship can't be mended after negative actions. For Tarek, he was not able to let go of that negativity. He got this literal God complex because of everything that he did do to forge this world, this false utopia. He refused to change, and Nat let him go because of that. While Adina did change, but her brother couldn't get past everything she had done to him. Like, she almost killed him and everyone else. He has a right to not forgive that. But he also did forgive M, the tar. He did actually forgive him. Because, he realized that he was wrong. That his mother wasn't killed by him. And so he was able to let that go because he found out the truth. The amount of nuance in these characters, the amount of depth, the amount of effort into making them feel like real people, people who can do both good and bad at any given turn, is so well done. Like, I was so invested in the story, so invested in the conflict and the actions, in finding out the truth of everything. Like, I mean, this movie literally brought me to tears. Like, it literally made me cry. And yes, I'm a bit of a crybaby. I do cry pretty easily, but it means something every time it does happen. Whenever a movie or a show makes me cry, it's because it's either really fucking sad, it's really epic, or it just touches me on a personal level. And this was a mix of all of that. There was so much sadness, so much pain, so much hate in this movie. And that affects me. Seeing that kind of pain in the real world bothers me a lot, and I've cried myself to sleep many a time because of these wars, these genocides, the bigotry in the world. And it's been hard. It's been really hard. And I've cried from happiness, from joy, from excitement, from hype. Moments that like get you really excited. Moments that like really feel triumphant. Or moments that just make you feel happy because something really joyous is happening. I cry from those moments just as much as I cry from sorrow. But this movie also spoke to me, personally. Because there's been so many times in my life that I have felt like I was not enough. The people around me, family, people I looked up to, people who I thought were supposed to care about me, have told me I wasn't enough. That I didn't live up to their expectations. That I didn't do what they felt I was supposed to do. And for many different reasons. I've had this happen when I came out. When I came out as trans back in 2017. I have felt a lot of this ever since, from friends, from family. I have been abandoned by so many because of just choosing to be myself. And this has happened because of my interests, my passions. Or, on the converse side, my lack of interests in certain things. I've been seen for my political views and religious views and just societal views as being unworthy. Unworthy of what, I could never tell you, but that's how people would tell me I am. I worded that weirdly, but you know what I mean. That's what people would tell me, that I'm unworthy. That I'm a lost cause. That I need to be fixed. And that especially comes in with the fact that I'm also autistic. I don't act the same way that other people do. I don't think, I don't feel the same way. I cannot function the same way as other people. And so many just don't understand this. And so many just see me as broken. And so many see me and other autistic people as needing to be fixed. And that's never okay. If you have some kind of disability, whether it's a mental disability, whether it's a physical disability, no matter what kind of disability you have, you are never less than anyone else. You are always worthy of just as much love and respect. And you deserve to be treated as an equal. Natomi didn't need to be fixed because her legs didn't work. When her father said that to her, like, that, like, I was, like, almost in shock. Any parent who says that kind of thing to their kid, that's just fucking terrible. That is so disgusting. To see your own child, because they are disabled, because they're handicapped, to see them as lesser, to see them as needing to be fixed, that's fucked up. That's not okay. And I think that's the thing that more than anything broke Natomi and made her realize that her father was beyond saving at this point, that she needed to let him go. But even so, when he was, attacked by Adina, she still reached out to him. She still called for him. Because he's still her father, and he still loved her, and she knows he still loved her. But she also knew that he was, bad. And as much as she still loved him, she had to let him go. She made the right decision. I've seen a lot of different movies and shows and stuff that have been like post-apocalyptic or in like this far distant future from like humanity and stuff. I think of like Horizon in terms of video games, or obviously you have Fallout in terms of games and shows. You have so much in terms of post-apocalyptic content. And it's like this was such a good way to handle that. Again, the twist reveal was so well handled. I like realized it right as they were revealing it, and it like just blew me away. It got me teary-eyed even at that point. It's like I was just so blown away by that twist. Because it recontextualized everything. Especially in regards to Tarek. It just recontextualized so much about what everything that we had been seeing between the two timelines was. Everything that Tarek had been doing, going as far again to sacrifice his own brother, to kill him, to murder him. It's just like, you see how corrupted he became by his own dreams, his own desires. And again, unfortunately, that does happen. Maybe not to like this kind of level, but still. And all this magic like being like science in reality, it's like that's not the first time that's been done. Where it's like, oh, this is magic, but surprise, we reveal later on, it's actually just science. And it's just like a creative usage of that to express a more magical viewpoint of things. That's such a cool idea every time I see that done. And it was so good here. But yeah, I loved this. Like, again, I called this a masterpiece. And I'm not kidding you. This movie was a masterpiece. And it's just, I'm so in shock by how good this was. And not because I didn't think it would be. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, I was being an asshole and thinking it would be bad because one person wrote, directed, and animated it solo. No. But, like, I have never heard of this until just days ago. I saw it while randomly scrolling down Twitter. I'm not 100%, but I think it was Jeff Thew from Mother's Basement on YouTube. I think he had posted about it. I think he shared it, and that's why I saw it, because I do follow him. But yeah, it's like I just randomly saw it while scrolling down Twitter, and it's like, oh, what's this? And I looked into like the comments and everything on the tweet and the link tweet. It's like, oh, this looks like this could be really cool. And like I said, I tweeted Denver asking if like I could do this, and it's like, I'm hoping you're seeing this, Denver. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. It's like this was so good. This was so good. And again, I believe I said it in the pre-thoughts, but we need to be supporting this kind of thing. Indie animations like this, we absolutely need to support. Because it's so good for the industry. When these independent animators, these independent creators are able to get these visions, these dream projects out. It does so much good, and it's the future of animation at this point. And I've been so impressed by so many things that have come out in recent years. Like between Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss, you have the amazing Digital Circus, and even just starting up, we have Knights of Guinevere by Dana Terrace, the same creator as The Owl House, and Glitch Productions, the same production group that puts out Murder Drones, that puts out Amazing Digital Circus, and more. We have these creators showing their true passions, their true dreams, and unprecedented ideas through these amazing indie animations. And that's something we always need to support. Do everything you can to support indie animators, indie artists, indie creators in general. Do everything you can. And I know not everybody can support them in all of the same ways. Not everybody always has like the monetary value to be able to get all these different like merch items and stuff. Not everybody can spend like all this money to go like see independent animations in theaters or whatnot when they are in there. It's like not everybody can do everything, especially in the world we're in today. But there's always something, even if it's just spreading the word around, allowing other people to learn about this stuff as well, and showing support for these creators can just come from like word of mouth, as simple as that. It doesn't need to be anything super fancy or exciting, but it needs to be done to some degree. This was just so good. I'm going to need to really like give it some thought, but I could genuinely see this being in my list of perfect films. I really need to give it some thought, but I genuinely think it could be in there. And that's such a small list, but it's ever growing as I see more. And it grows because I keep seeing these films that just end up like pushing boundaries and giving these amazing stories and characters, these themes with so much depth, and just being, really fun to watch. Sometimes that's all it takes. So yeah, this was special. Like, this was something truly special. Denver and everyone else who worked on this did a phenomenal job. And this will always be up there for me. And I'm so glad that I reacted to this. I'm so glad that I got permission to. And I hope to see more stuff like this in the future. So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to it. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, wow, fucked up that outro. I'm Connie, I'm signing off. See you all next time.